What's up, guys? I'm Chris Johnson, your host for my podcast, Jus Win, where we unlock the mental power. Welcome back. Today, we got a great guest, celebrity chef, my brother,
What's up, man?
Chris. You're in the building.
Let's go.
Welcome to the show today.
Appreciate you having me.
For you guys that don't know, Chris is one of the top chefs in the country.
Man, that's love right there.
For sure. When you are able to help athletes play at a high level and perform at a high level and being their chef, you got to be really good at this.
Well, I try to stay humble, but, I understand that. I understand the pressure that it takes, and I understand that, to be at the top, you got to, be on top of your game.
You got to be on top of your game, and that starts with the food that you put in your body.
Absolutely.
So, Chris, tell us, who are you?
Man, Chef Chris, that's like my moniker now. Like, when people come up to me, they don't even say, hey, Chris. They say, hey, Chef Chris, so I'm going to just go with it. Chef Chris, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. So I'm a long way from home.
Not 8 Mile, though.
Not 8 Mile, I'm from 7 Mile. We won't get into the politics of that, though.
Only reason why I know about 8 Mile.
Because of the movie, right?
Because of the movie.
Yeah.
Eminem. Eminem really put the spotlight on.
For sure. 8 Mile, I've got family that grew up on 8 Mile. 8 Mile is the longest running, street in Detroit.
So that's what it is. It's just basically a street.
Yeah, and it runs from like the suburbs of Detroit down to like the hood of Detroit. It's like it runs, 50 miles, 60 miles. Yeah. So, but yeah, Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. Been here in California now 4 years. Moved out here in 2021, so like right after the pandemic.
Right.
Still kind of in the residual effects of the pandemic. You know how that was. And yeah, just living the LA lifestyle. Staying on top of my grind, but also taking it one day at a time and really appreciating the moment that I have, the moment that I'm in with the work that I do. And shout out to Detroit, man.
Detroit in the building. So being from Detroit, how did you get into the chef world?
So that's kind of like a two-part question, right? So how I got into the chef, how I became a chef, I should say, how I got into the culinary industry is my mother, my late mother. She passed away when I was 22, so that's also who I do it for. But I started working in restaurants just as a job, Our kids got out in high school, they're working at Foot Locker or something like that. And like, I couldn't get a job at Foot Locker, shout out Foot Locker, but I couldn't get a job there for whatever reason. So I'm like, all right, I'll go work at a restaurant. What do y'all want me to do? Make salads? Okay, I'll make salads, And it was just at one moment, it was like Mother's Day or Easter, I believe. And my mother came, I invited her to we were doing a brunch. Mom, come to the brunch. I'm going to be on the omelet station. They're giving me my first real test, like live omelets. I got to talk to people, but I also got to make the omelet taste good, look good. So she's like, all right, I'll come. And she came, and she sees me back there. I'm engaging everybody, flipping omelets. I got 4 going at the same time. I'm in my swag, and she's just like, and your parents see something in you before you see it in yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? As you know, you have children. And I think, and that I'm 19, maybe 18, 19 at this moment, just fresh out of high school. And she sees me in that element. And afterwards, she's like, you're going to culinary school. And I was like, what do you mean? What is culinary school?
Right. First of all.
Because mind you, again, like this is in 2007. Chefs are not famous and popular in 2007.
Chefs are not highlighted.
No,
but
not at all.
Food is necessary.
Food is necessary, but chefs are not highlighted. We're looked at. They would call us in restaurants BOH, back of the house.
Okay.
Because you're in the back of the restaurant,
Right.
but you're never in the front. Right. You're never forefront. But she's seen that in me, and she's like, you're going to culinary school, and kind of dragged me through it. I'm like, all right, sure. And then unfortunately, a few years later, she passed away. And then that's when I was like, you know what, like,
that became your driving force.
That's my driving force. She's seen this in me. And I know I'm talented at it, but I have to hone in the skills. I got to be great at it,
Right.
And that's kind of how I got my start, in the culinary world.
Man, that's a dope story. So being a chef is really being inspired by your late mother.
Yes.
And seeing something in you and recognizing that you have an ability to do something that you didn't even know. We call that the pivot. So a lot of times, we have a plan, we have an idea of what we want or who we want to become, and then life throws us a pivot.
Right.
By you not being able to get a job in the shoe store, right? Actually put you in a position to become who you are today.
Which is crazy to think about. But yes, absolutely.
That's how life is, though.
It is, and it's a beautiful, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the pivot. And you don't even know when the pivot is coming. You don't know who's going to pivot, help you pivot, if it's your parents, if it's a friend, and I'm just thankful for that. I thank God every single day for that, because who knows? I'm a kid from Detroit.
Right.
I'm not saying I was, running around in the streets or anything, but who knows what life could have became for me.
Because this is right after high school.
This is right after high school, like literally my last year of high school, and I'm just kind of like not even taking it serious. I'm like making salads and stuff, I'm just thinking like, all right, $12 an hour, cool. Like nobody's making $12 an hour, and like
and you stand at the house,
still at the house, So that's but to second part of that, how I got into that's the culinary part of it. How I got into like the chef business, I should say, is when I decided I wanted to start my own business.
So when you decided, this is after culinary school?
This is after culinary school, and this is working in the industry for a few years. Okay. And working in the industry, there's a lot of politics, right?
Nothing but politics.
I'm a young kid. I'm a young black kid, in a male-driven industry. But you know what I mean? You know how it is. It's definitely something where, I was looked at as green. Like I wasn't going to be able to be good enough to be a head chef somewhere. Right. Wasn't going to be good or smart enough to be an executive chef somewhere where you're running numbers and pushing that part of the business. And I just kept seeing myself kind of like on a, like a hamster wheel, where am I going? Right. And that was when I was 26 or 27. So almost 10 years later. And I decided I wanted to start my own business, and I'm going to make myself a chef. I was a cook. I was a line cook. Right. I was a, pastry cook, but I wanted to make myself a chef. And that's when I started my business, my catering business, my private chef business. And that all started with just like, hey, you don't want me to be a chef. You won't teach me how to become a chef. You won't give me, I'm going to teach myself.
But your preparation allowed you to become a chef or to move your seat over a little bit.
Yeah.
When I look at you starting with salads, omelets, then you looked at being a line chef, right? And a line cook. And then you're learning different departments of being able to prepare food, prepared you to the next part of your vision, and that's becoming a private chef.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one thing is I admire things from afar without having to say it, or speak on it, and like when I was in those situations, I always admired different people in the industry, right? Like, how is this person executing this dessert so well? Yeah, it's already pre-made dessert. Yeah, it's already, you know what I mean, a cake just brought out of the refrigerator, but like, how did they make that plate look? Okay, boom, let me add that. Okay, are y'all doing the inventory count right now? Yeah, we're doing the inventory count right now. You mind if I'm just back here, I'm going to organize. All right, how you doing that? Oh, that's
being a student.
Being a student. And just admiring it from far because, they're not going to teach you the game. So I'm like, okay. And I'm just picking up all of these things, right? Like you said, preparation. Because in my head, you already knew I'm like, I'm going to start my business. Right. Don't know when or how, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just, oh, you do that like that? Oh, you do this like this? Okay. Bring it all together. Boom. Here's my part.
You just gave the mentality that most people need to adapt. Is first of all, you had a vision. Second of all, you became a student. Third of all, you had the initiative, the motivation, the inspiration to do it.
Absolutely.
You didn't have to have the complete plan with the results. And so for people that are watching that inspire to be a chef that are just cooking, because sometimes we look at it like, oh, you're just cooking. Right. But to be a chef, you have to become a student because food really affects the body, and it's the key to us living a really good, healthy lifestyle.
And you're, I also take great responsibility in being someone who nourishes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like that's a part of my chef superpower.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm able to nourish you, right? Like you ever have a really long day and you feeling like, man, did I eat enough, or
right.
I ate too much, or you know what I mean? And then you get home and either your wife prepares something for you, your mom, your sister, and that nourishes your soul.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, dang, I needed that.
Food does it every time.
You know what I mean? I needed whatever that, my wife made. If she made me a smoothie, if she made me hey, babe, I made you a dessert. There's a nourishing factor in that you think about your grandmother, your loved ones when it comes. And that's something that I hold true to as well, nourishing people, right?
Wow.
That's something that I really, really appreciate about being a chef.
That's strong.
Yeah.
Coming from a man.
Mm-hmm.
A man providing nourishment through food.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard this before because of Dwayne Chef.
Yeah.
Chef Richard.
Yeah.
And I watch his attention to detail. And I watch his precision.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just preparing food. He knows what you're allergic to.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what your body needs so when you're talking about this type of precision and nourishment, it really is important, especially when taking care of someone's household and providing that.
Absolutely.
So when you got into your own business, who was your first client, and what was the process to obtaining that client?
So my first actual client before a professional client was a lady in Detroit, and I actually did her party basically free.
Okay, talk to me.
For free, and it was, and she was a friend of a babysitter, and someone who I knew was a babysitter was like, hey, I wanna, as a gift, I want to hire you to cook for my clients who I babysit their kids. I want to do something nice for them. I'm gonna take the kids out. You come over and cook. And I'm nervous because I never had cooked in an environment like that. Someone's home, someone's kitchen, beautiful home, and all this stuff, And I basically just, what's your price? And I'm like, just pay for the groceries and that's it.
An investment in yourself. That's what I call it. We really don't do anything for free.
At all.
But you didn't know that at the time.
Right.
It's an investment.
Yeah.
And that investment puts you in a situation to get experience.
Exactly. And that's what I was yearning for, experience.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm like, I need experience in this field. Like, I'm used to the restaurants, fast paced, blah, blah, blah. But like, let me get used to this 3-course, in someone's kitchen, serving them a bomb meal. So that was my first client. And I did great, in my opinion. They loved it.
In that story, though, for people that are watching, understand the difference between free and investment.
Yeah.
Chef Chris, made a choice to invest in yourself to get the experience.
Absolutely.
Most people are stuck.
Yeah.
And they're stuck in a situation where they don't know their price.
That was a part of it too, right?
They don't know what should I charge?
What's my worth?
That is always a very difficult position when
Yeah.
you're first starting in the industry.
Oh my God.
You don't want to undercharge, but you don't want to overcharge.
Right.
You just want what your value is.
And to speak on that really quick, once I got my feet wet a little bit, I started to think like that, and I'm going like, how do I charge, right? And I sat down with a friend of mine at the time, and I go, you know what? I could either be, no disrespect, right? I could either be like Walmart, right?
Yep.
Where I could serve you something that's very lower quality standard for a lower price, but do a lot of it.
Yep.
Right. I can do 100 people a week, but I'm doing very low. I made chicken and peas. Here you go. Bye. I'm like, or I asked my friend, I said, how many Walmart commercials do you see? And then how many Chanel, Fendi, Gucci commercials do you see? Do you see a lot of advertisement for those companies? And they're like, no. And I'm like, do you think it's because they don't have the money to advertise? It says, no, it's just because they have a demographic, right? And there's nothing wrong with having a demographic.
Nothing wrong with having a demographic.
Where you just set it and say like, hey, if you can afford me, sure, I'll do it for anybody.
Right.
But like, I have a price that I'm going to stick to, right? My T-shirts are $189, but people like Egyptian spun cotton, right? Like they want that on their skin and they'll pay for it, right? And that was a pivot when I first started going like, hey, what chef do I want to be in this industry as a private chef?
What's your price point?
What's my price point? Am I going to be a Walmart, you know what I mean, type of business, or am I going to be over here where I set a standard for demographic and I might only sell 2 T-shirts a day,
right?
But I'm selling them at $189.
Yeah. and there's no right or wrong to that. Because
no, it's not.
You have people that like own food trucks.
Yeah, right.
And they're selling 200 tacos a day to the general pop.
Yeah.
And you may work for just one client or 2.
And it's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
So you can always, it's the same setup. And I think that's a process that most people they're not mentally prepared for. And that's a tough conversation to have with a client and say, this is my price point. This is what you got to pay to get this service. And then most people look at, I'm paying you to do this. No, you're paying for my expertise. You're paying for my thought process and my experience.
How diligent I am.
Everything.
Like all of these things.
The nourishments that you're going to put into that.
There's a lot that comes with what I'm about to prepare and serve you guys,
So this led you into
professional athletes.
Professional athletes.
Yep, absolutely. And so my first client, professional athlete, was Langston Galloway.
Yes, Langston.
You know LG?
I know LG.
I'm sure you know LG.
Yeah, LG a professional too.
He's a true professional. He's a great man, great family.
He was playing for the Pistons at the time.
Playing for the Pistons. This was 2017.
So your first client, Langston, and he was with the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
2017.
2017, yep.
I think he was probably a starter at that time.
He was, 2016-2017 season, he was a starter. That was like I was started with him the year before Blake came.
Yep.
And then Blake came and things, kind of blew up a little bit. But and again, we're talking about being prepared for the moments, right? So how I was able to get that client. I'm, doing my thing around Detroit. I'm kind of meal prepping. The events are slowing down, so I'm not getting as many parties, where I'm coming to cook for people. So I'm doing my thing. I'm grinding, but I always knew in the back of my head, like, if I serve my city, they're gonna lift me up and they're gonna put me where I need to be. If I give to my community. So I'm driving 40, 50 miles outside of where I live at, delivering meals to older people. Who are just like, I don't have time, I'm doing rehab this day, and I just need something healthy to eat.
Right.
I'm dropping off these meals, I'm doing my thing. So someone tags me in a Facebook post where someone made a post, hey, I'm looking for a chef for a client, very exclusive, must have this, and this experience, right? And I'd always knew this moment was going to come. I don't know how, but I had my website fully done and ready, professionally looking. I scrubbed my Instagram of all of the memes and bull crap, right? It was just a food-driven Instagram.
So you kind of like rebuild, rebrand yourself.
Yeah, and this was before I knew about this client. I just knew that, like, when the time comes and they ask for all of this list of things, here you go, here you go, here you go, I'm ready.
We talk about this all the time to athletes, about preparing for the moment.
Right.
And people always like, man, I got to show up and put in the work over and over and over and over again, but the moment hasn't come yet. Or they keep overlooking me. And why are they not picking me? Now, all of the questions come. This is where, you get mentally fatigued.
Yes.
But you were prepared.
I was prepared for it.
I love that.
And when, the chef, there was a chef who made this post because he was at the time working with another player. And he's like, hey, do you have references for your food? Sure. Do you have a price list? Absolutely. Do you have an Instagram we can see? Sure. Do you have a website? Here you go. And he was just like, I never had any chef do this before. Like, have you ever worked with a professional athlete? I said, not until you call me, because I'm about to work on one now. And he laughed because he was like, are you speaking into existence? I said, yeah, I want this job and I'm going to have this job because I'm prepared. Yeah. Not because I'm, overly confident, but I'm prepared, which gives me confidence. You know what I mean? And so therefore, I go and do like a trial run with Langston. He's like, just come over and make me lunch. Let me see how it is. Let's see your swag, And I always show up, what do they say? If you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time, right? So I'm there early, nervous, but I made him a great meal. I made him some snacks, some good things, and then made some food for his wife. And he was like, yo, you got the job. Locked in, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And once I got my foot through that door, I was like, yeah, this is where I belong,
You started with a good client, too.
Yeah.
Because you can get some bad experiences with clients that are bad.
Oh, yeah.
There's some bad clients out there. Langston is a good start place.
He's a great man. His family is great. They're from Louisiana. I've got Creole roots. My grandfather's Creole. It's Gullah Geechee. So, it was a good.
It was a good fit.
Yeah, perfect fit.
It's a perfect fit. Yeah. And then from there, starting in the NBA world, you progressively seen how basketball players that are in market leave market. You just said that Langston, he's not from Detroit.
Yeah.
He's not going to live in Detroit in the off season.
No.
So
not many people do.
Not many people do, except if you're in LA.
Yeah, right.
If you're in LA, Miami, maybe New York. You stay in your market and then you vacation out.
Right.
But you've learned something along the way that players actually leave the market that they play in at the end of the season.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of a challenge for me. And nothing. Langston was 100% upfront, honest. Like, hey, bro, we're traveling. Like, I've got some foundations and camps back home. You know what I mean? And when we get back, absolutely, we lock back in. So, and this is something to other chefs, other private chefs. When you're in this world, NBA, NFL, professional, the money is good and it comes fast. But don't spend it like you're an NBA or NFL player, right? Because you're thinking like, oh, man, I'm making so much money right now, right? Like, and you're getting it quick and fast. And then you start kind of trying to live that lifestyle. Like, okay, let me upgrade my car. Let me go get, some fresh. Let me go get all of this stuff, new chain, you know what I mean? Because when I'm with my client, I want to be known as like, I'm clean, right? So, but one thing I was really good about was just like saving my money, because I was kind of afraid, like, okay, if they do leave in the off season, what do I do? So I had a little bit of a cushion, but then I got back to meal prepping, serving the community, giving back to my people how I was doing before.
You had a foundation.
I had a foundation, you know what I mean? I'm a hometown kid. Here you go. I'm dropping off meals. And then comes the next client, which was Andre Drummond. I was playing for the Pistons at the time. And this is a funny story too, because I was actually playing basketball at LA Fitness. And I know a lot of his close friends and stuff, like we're cool or whatever, just from being at the Pistons games, and, you know what I mean? And we hoop and he walks in and I'm just like, God damn, like he's about to shut down the gym, right? Mind you, these NBA players, it's different. Andre Drummond showed up and I thought he was, Chris Paul, like the way he was playing basketball. I'm like, it's a whole different.
He got to play, because that's structural basketball and hooping is two different things. A lot of times players are limited on what they can show or showcase. They have to be role. They have to be stars in their role.
And I thought that, and then I seen him, and I'm like, bro, he just shot a 30-foot three-pointer like off one leg, money, not even touching the rim, bop bop. So, but after we're done hooping and stuff, we untying our shoes, getting ready to leave, and Drummond just looked at me. I hadn't even really spoke to him the whole time we playing basketball. He just looked at me like, where you going? You coming to Vegas with us, right? And I was like, coming to Vegas with y'all? He was like, yeah. Lo told me that you a chef. We need a chef for Vegas. We traveling. We're going to be out there for like 2 months, the whole summer. I said, yeah, I am. Let's go. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, cool. Come to my house. We're going to chill for a little bit, and then we can sit down and talk about pricing and all that. Perfect. So then I end up being this travel chef during the off season and travel with him, go to Vegas, LA, do a couple, throw like parties and stuff like that, cook for people. And, that was fun and I enjoyed myself. And that was definitely like a roller coaster coming from just being in one place and like traveling a lot.
That was your first time traveling outside of Detroit with a client,
right? Yeah.
Which is different.
It's way different.
It's way different, and depending on the client, it could be even more of a different experience.
100%.
But it is an experience.
It is experience, right?
And it teaches you, and it prepares you.
Yes.
And that's probably one of the most important things that I've learned working with clients is each client is different. Each client comes with a different background and a different experience, and they have a different vision.
Yeah.
I learned that being professional in those environments is the number one option. And maintaining your lane. Like, stay in your lane, be great at what you do, and focus on what you're supposed to do. Keep the main thing the main thing.
It's simple.
And you will be fine.
Yeah, simple.
You'll be fine. How do you maintain, like, your creativity as a chef when you're on the road versus being, at home? Like you went from Detroit to Vegas.
Yeah.
So now you got to find new groceries, grocery places to shop. You got to adjust to a new kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, how do you maintain creativity?
So I think I maintain creativity anywhere that I go. I try to go eat out in those areas, cities, right? Kind of get a vibe for the food, right? Like, how they're serving the food, what's the trendy, what's the presentation like, what's the difference between comfort Midwest food and like green LA food, or Vegas is the desert. So, so I would always go to different restaurants and just kind of see what the vibe is. But creativity for me is pretty simple. You know what I mean? Like, I just go from within also, right? Like, I'm always thinking about food, right? Like, you're a coach, you're always thinking about the next thing to do or to,
how to
make like, better from the last thing you did.
Create new recipes.
And this is something that I actually thought about, and I thought about you, and I was thinking about this because we talk all the time, and we had these type of conversations, and repetition is a responsibility. You know what I mean? Repetition is not a privilege.
Right.
Okay. And being so repetitive at something, right? So repetitive that even when it's great, it's not great enough, fuels my creativity. You know what I mean? Like, I can make a Caesar salad 100 times, but every time I'm making, I'm going to change something.
Right.
Right. Until it's exactly perfect. Right. And when I think about the simple things too, like a Caesar salad is very simple, but to me, I'm thinking like, okay, does it have too much cracked black pepper in it? You know what I mean? What type of croutons? Am I using sourdough? Am I using a baguette? Am I using a brioche?
You get into the details.
I'm getting into the very hard detail. Do I want to use butter on my croutons? Do I want to use olive oil? Like these different things for the taste. And that's what drives my creativity. It's like being so repetitive that it's a responsibility that I'm going to make this thing so many times that by the time you get it, it's perfect, and I'm still perfecting it after that. So I always was able just to kind of like go within when it comes to, I could walk into a grocery store right now with no plan and come out with a pretty decent meal.
Yeah, because you actually preparing your mind mentally.
Yeah.
Like mentally you're preparing like different systems of how to make things. Like the way you just broke down a Caesar salad, now you got me thinking about the different types of croutons.
Yeah,
the different flavors that you can add to the croutons.
Exactly.
But that's mental preparation. Where did you get your mental techniques from?
My mother. My mother she's a Detroit woman, you know what I mean? She's a strong black woman, and she was a single mom, right? And and these are conversations we would have on our way to school, on our way to basketball practice, anything. She was always keeping me sharp, you know what I mean? From the time I was 5 years old, I knew the difference between chess and checkers. She was always telling, at 5 years old, she's saying, son, we don't play checkers, we play chess. I'm like, Mom, I just want to play video games, right? But but these things stick in my head, and she was always, letting me know like the path of my life is going to be difficult just because I'm a black man, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And she was always preparing me for that. So I always knew going into things, I got to be overly prepared. I got to be mentally sharp. You know what I mean? I'm not going to complain about anything. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that, you know what I mean? And I just, My mom I wish, if you had the opportunity, to meet her, she was just like, she was a G. Like, that's the best way to put it.
She actually prepared you mentally for anything. Not just being a chef in your profession, but for anything life throws at you, which is so important to me, because when I look at mental health, or like a mental status of a person, you look at how people handle adversity. And even in our conversation and sitting here, I'm looking at your mental pivots before things got there, your mental preparation, like how you preparing to be resilient. And now I understand how in the kitchen, there's so many different obstacles that are happening and so many different things that are thrown at you that you're going to be able to navigate it, pivot it. And so, like, let's take, for instance, like, you started in the NBA with professional athletes, Langston and Dre, right? You pivoted somehow into the NFL.
Whew. It's different.
It's a total different world.
Totally different.
Basketball players are different than football players.
100%.
But you just didn't get into football with just any type of player.
Right. So I, again, speaking about my community, how I was able to get into the NFL, I was dropping off meals to a guy who happened to be a lawyer. And I was just making family meals for him to warm up, for him and his wife and his kids. And he had some friends over one night. Friends are eating a meal, and they're going like, man, this is good. Like, did you get this from, like, Myers or something, or grocery store? And they're like, no, we got a chef. He just drops off these meals for us. He's actually really good. I'll give you his information. And this gentleman is like, well, that's perfect, because I have a client who plays for the Detroit Lions, and he needs a chef. and this gentleman, his name's Bill, he, messages me, and, and sometimes you get these messages, and it's like from Bill, and you're like, man, yeah, okay, sure. And he started naming a client, it's Matthew Stafford. Sure. Okay. Right. Cool. And I didn't even respond to it. And then he texted me again. He's like, hey, like, I would need an answer within the next day or so, because they want to hire somebody by the end of the week. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, so I reached out to him. And what's kind of funny about that story is I already had known Matthew and his wife prior to that.
Okay.
I had a friend that went to college with Kelly, his wife. So we had a small relationship, as far as, like, I had hung out at their house before. They knew me by face.
Right, but not by profession.
But not by profession. You know what I mean? So, and so when that situation, presented itself, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, okay, well, it's a trial run. Now, mind you, I'm a competitive person.
Absolutely. You better be a competitive person.
You can't say to me, hey, someone else is up for this position too, but we're going to decide between y'all two. Because as soon as you tell me that, I'm like, oh, yeah, bet.
Let's go. Let's turn up.
If you'd have just told me, like, oh, yeah, we're considering only you, I'm still going to do a great job. But you add a competitive fire to it, it's like, oh, yeah, okay.
But that's a mindset.
Yeah.
That's a mindset, because there is the other side of that mindset.
Yeah.
If you present the opportunity to somebody, you say, hey, it's not your job yet. You're on a trial period because we're looking at other people. They mentally could check out. They mentally could say, well, they don't want me.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. But and every time they show up, that's how they cook. Like, man, are they criticizing my food? Like, did it not taste good? Did it not do good? But your approach was totally different. You're like, let's go.
When you playing basketball, you slap the floor. Yeah. Slap the floor.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm ready. And so I show up, and one thing that was very apparent early on when they were telling me about the job was like, hey, we are very strict about our times. You know what I mean? Because we have children. So it's like, hey, if we want to eat at 7:15, it's not 7:17.
Right.
It's not 7:20. It's 7:15. Because we want to be brushing our teeth by a certain amount of time and in bed by this. And I live by that type of lifestyle. Like, I am 100% a guy who was like, yo, I'm got to be here this, I'm this, and I got to be there by the, So prepared the meal on time, rocked it out. Before I even get a chance to leave, they're like, yeah, we don't even want to talk to anyone else. You know what I mean? Like, you're hired. Can you start Monday. Yeah, I'll be here.
Was that at the beginning of the season?
This was during the right before training camp. So training camp usually starts middle of July, end of July. So this was like sometime in July.
So when you're looking at that, you just got the job. Mm-hmm. So how do you adjust your meal timing, your meal schedule?
Yeah.
Right. Game schedule.
Yeah.
Training camp schedule.
Right.
You were cooking for the whole family. Mm-hmm. What does that look like?
So I will say this: it's very important to exalt all your resources when you're working with a professional athlete, right? Okay. And by what I mean by that is like reach out to the team nutritionist. You know, like if you're Jackson Hayes' chef, right? You can reach out to that Lakers nutritionist and say, "Hey, I'm his chef. Could you hook me up with a meal plan, or not a meal plan, but a nutrition plan broken down based on your expertise?"
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to guess, right? Your expertise, break it down. You give me that information, then I could take it, right? So that's exactly what I did. Like reach out to the team nutritionist for the Lions. I'm like, hey, like I cook healthy food, but like, do we have any specifics we need to follow? You know? And so they give me a list, and a few of the specifics were some things like, spinach and kale, like not to give them specifically. And just because, some of the minor injuries in his body particular, spinach and kale cause inflammation. Everybody's body is different. Mm-hmm. Spinach and kale for us is great and it's healthy, right? We love it, we enjoy it. But for him, he couldn't have it unless we add calcium, which is some type of cheese. Because his body particularly can break down the calcium with the spinach and kale easier and turn it into what it needs to be to replenish him. So those are little things that was kind of different for me. I'm like, okay, all right, you just don't just make a meal and go away. But then also, too, I have a great dialogue and relationship with my client because your client is more dialed into their body than anybody. Sure. They should be.
Most professional athletes are. You just got to listen.
You got to listen. Like there's times where, he might tell me a certain part of his body that's hurting and he'll start naming ligaments and bones by like the doctor terminology. Yeah. And I'm going, yo, you got to dumb it down for me. Right. Oh, my hamstring. You know what I'm saying? But he's telling me because he's had the injuries, the surgeries, mm-hmm. like he knows his body is a pro athlete. So our relationship is great enough too, where he'll come to me and say like, hey, this is going into this month before training camp. This is how I want to lock in. You know what I mean? I want to go heavy protein, low carbs, boom. And that, plus what the nutritionist would give me, we come together with a great meal plan for him. Right.
So teamwork is very important. Sure. Conversation, mm-hmm. dialogue, listening, mm-hmm. note taking, and then taking the ingredients of what's needed and then putting your twist
on it. And also too with your clients, to the chefs that are working with professional athletes, make sure because some athletes might say, man, my diet is chicken and waffles, I'm good, right? And it's like, okay, I understand that, and I've talked to the nutritionist, right? We have a game plan. I'll give you a cheat day once a week. But our cheat day, we're going to line it up to how you might have a back-to-back or something. You know what I mean? So now our cheat day is worked there, right? Or however it works, you know what I'm saying? Or, hey, we're going to give you a cheat day on this day because you played a game on Sunday. Your cheat day, we're going to use those carbs to recover and replenish. And then Tuesday is a full workout day. You know what I mean? So we're using that cheat day as actual fuel for your body. You know what I mean? We're not giving you that cheat day where you don't have, for me, for instance, in the NFL, Saturday when they go for the game breakdown, Saturday is like a walkthrough. Mm-hmm. So if it's home or away, they just go on the field and they literally go through the play, say, hike, 1, 2, 3, boom. Like it's not a full. So they're not getting a full workout that Saturday. Right. They're done, and they're not doing anything Sunday except playing the game and warming up, right? So for him, I wouldn't do cheat days on Fridays in particular. You know what I mean? I'll wait till Monday to do cheat day.
Because it's after the game. So how would what's your take on maintaining foods that bring inflammation into the athlete's body? What's your whole strategy? So with maintaining inflammation and bringing it down?
My whole strategy with maintaining inflammation and bringing it down is limit as much processed gluten as possible.
Okay.
And so I make a lot of my pastas from scratch. And I spent some time in Italy, which was awesome with my wife or whatever, and they use a lot of semolina flour. Semolina flour isn't processed with gluten like the same way it is here in the States. That's why they always tell you, like, oh, you go to Italy, you eat pasta all day long, never gain weight. It's because it's not processed with the same type of gluten. So I'll make my pastas from scratch, gluten-free pastas if I want to do a pasta day. But I try to avoid a lot of unnecessary gluten. I try to make sure that my client has electrolytes at the right time, as far as how his body works, right? Like his schedule works. A lot of antioxidants too, you know what I mean? So broccoli, cherry tomatoes, blueberries, things like that. I try to incorporate into his diet. Things like that. But I would say gluten for me is like one of the biggest things. And
so gluten helps reduce inflammation.
It helps reduce inflammation when it's at its highest. You know what I mean? So like if you're just, very coming off of an injury, sore, you know what I mean, stiff, like that's particularly I wouldn't do a lot of gluten, in that
if you're
time of the diet.
If you're an everyday person like myself, general population, how do I find gluten and avoid it?
So it's a lot of gluten-free options. Now, I mean, like 2025, like you can go to, almost any grocery store and find a gluten-free option. I like using a lot of, if you want to use a already made pasta, Banza. Banza is made with chickpea protein.
Okay.
To make the pasta, and that's awesome. It's a different cooking technique than it is cooking just normal pasta in boiling water. Very similar, but, just read the instructions. It's super simple. And the company is actually a Michigan-made company. They started their brand in Michigan, would do farmers markets, and then they end up going on that TV show.
Chef Chris need to deal with you guys. He just
Bonza, talk to me, you know what I mean? Look, I usually don't throw names out, you know what I mean? But I just did it here on the biggest podcast, so just show me some love, guys.
So how would you educate athletes? Because athletes are stubborn.
Yeah.
They're very stubborn, and that's what makes them great,
yeah.
right? Because there's a lot of food like gluten and other things that they're going to eat. They're going to stop and
for sure.
They're going to eat particular chicken sandwiches. They're going to eat certain things. How do you educate them on helping them reduce inflammation? Because if you can reduce inflammation, you reduce injuries, stress in the joints. Everything is started with inflammation. Yeah. Even inflammation in the guts.
In the gut, for sure. Gut health is important, right? Especially for athletes and all of us in general, but when it comes to the athletes, your body, your vessel as a professional athlete is changing hundreds of lives around you, right? You're literally taking people out of situations and putting them in other situations because of how great you are at your profession and you've made it to this level, right? You did all of that to make it to this level. You trust your coaches as you should, right? Trust your chef. If you hire a chef, which I believe all you guys should hire a chef, some type of person that's preparing food for you outside of the facility, trust them.
So for the chefs.
Yeah.
What are the critical keys for a chef to get the athlete to trust them?
So the critical keys for me to get the athletes to trust you is, you got to satiate them with things that they do enjoy, but you have to also let them know, like, hey, you gotta let me make this type of meal for you. I know you don't like sweet potatoes and blah, 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 whatever the things you don't like, but let me make this meal for you. And if you hate it, we'll never make it again. But I'm going to keep trying to make these meals for you because I got to get this particular nutrient into your body, And one thing athletes notice is performance. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if I'm eating exactly, okay, chef, all right, you got it, right? You wanna make me okay, no more chicken and waffles and blah, blah, blah. You want to make me the stuff? Okay, I trust you, chef. And then we go through an 82 game season and you play 69 games, 70 games. And then we sit back looking and you like, And I'm like, all right, now we gotta discuss salary increase. No, I'm
joking. Yeah, hey,
but look, you know what I'm saying?
But that you're exactly right, because
you know what I mean?
everything that we do is based on performance.
Yeah.
Matt was a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
Matthew is a Super Bowl champion, right? And you were with him through the entire journey. You said 22 weeks?
22 weeks.
22 weeks.
Look, y'all, the NBA is a grind. I'm telling you, it is a grind for sure. You know, I'm not even going to, but the NFL, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying?
22 weeks.
22 weeks is a long time. You know what I'm saying? But that was the thing that, you know, with Matthew and I is he trusts me. You know what I mean? He trusts his team, right? He's got a physical therapist. He trusts his PT to keep his body right. He trusts his chef, and he trusts he trusts us, right? And we're going through this season, and there's injuries. You know what I mean? We don't talk about them,
right?
But my guy is playing through some rough injuries, right? But he's letting me know, man, my elbow or this, my back, this and that. Okay, cool. I got the remedy for that, right? You know what I mean? Your back is hurting a little bit. Your knees hurt when you wake up in the morning. Okay, we're only doing red meat once this week. You know what I mean? We're gonna go heavy on the omega-3s, fishes. Branzino, we got salmon. We're gonna do a lot of fishes this week. Clean you up. Going to the next game, how you feeling? I'm feeling a lot better. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. Now we can kind of level back out. Red meat twice a week. You know what I mean? So he's talking to me, he's telling me. I'm talking to the physical therapist. I'm hitting up the PT.
With his body, what's going on with the body? What's
going on with his body? What's up? What's in it? Oh man, I think he might have chipped this or this is hurting, whatever. So, or the PT hit me up. Yo, chef, we all anti-inflammatories this week. Nothing. All anti-inflammatories. No gluten. No this. No that. Okay, I got you.
Because we got to flush it out.
We got to flush it all out.
And that teamwork is needed to create the champion. These are the people that are at the back of the house that we talked about. But really, me and my brother, we call it housekeeping. And to be successful, we all got to be housekeepers. You know, you got to communicate with the gardener. You got to communicate with the people that are important to build that particular, you know, ingredients that make that person successful on that particular day that's showing up in front of everyone. That's amazing. So that 22-week was a grind.
That 22-week was a grind, you know, and I travel with my clients to the away games, obviously go to all of the home games and stuff. And, you know, it's when I didn't win a Super Bowl, right? Like I wasn't there playing with them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I felt a part of that, right? Because I sacrificed a lot, you know what I'm saying? I sacrificed a lot of my time.
Yep.
Obviously, my job is important, so time is a part of the job. But, you know, anything I need to do off schedule, I did it. You know what I mean? Any place I need to go to source ingredients, particularly for the client, I did it. And that just showed me, even though that I have a champion mindset already, that just showed me that, like, it still takes a different mindset, right? Because you know.
Bro, every time my clients.
That was you about to say, right?
Every time my clients do something great, I'm cheering. I'm cheering because I was a part of the process. They got to go out and perform, but I got to be great at what I do to help them reach that peak performance.
Yep.
And when they win a championship, I win a championship.
Won a championship for sure.
You know,
man.
when they win and become all-stars or first team All-NBA, first team All-Defense, got one particular client right now. His goal is to play 82 games. I ain't gonna say his name because he close, and I don't want nothing to happen to him in between these next 9 games.
Okay, bet.
But at this point in his career, if he play 82 games, it means a lot. So the chef is important, the trainer is important, the skill coach is important, the body person is important. Every piece of the puzzle
is important.
It's important, and if you really look at how important your piece is, whether it's small or big, and you become great at it, you really have an impact on a person's life, whether they're a professional athlete or not.
100%.
And that's critical. So you did win a Super Bowl. You just didn't throw no touchdowns.
Look, I'm going to tell y'all, look, I got some pictures where I'm like, I'm partying like I won the Super Bowl. That's for sure. But again, that's just just for the private chefs out there and stuff. Because I know there's really no trophy for us, right? There's nothing that we can, so that moment right there is great.
Ain't no Hall of Fame for chefs.
Ain't no Hall of Fame for chefs.
Maybe if you get a TV show.
Yeah, right. That would be the
TV show. Maybe we get a TV show.
Look, we on the biggest pod. Why not?
Let's go.
But yeah, just to the chefs, you guys, we grind. It's a grind for us, but know that keeping the main thing is so important when it comes to your client, right? Yeah. And I see a lot of chefs, and everybody's got their thing that they do, but I see a lot of chefs that kind of veer off and they want it all at once. They want to be more known than professional. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm known, if I'm popular, that's more important to me than being professional. Yeah. And I always was like, I'd rather be professional than popular.
That's me.
I don't need to be popular, right? Like, who needs to know me knows me, right? But I'm professional, and anyone that ever mentions my name is going to say, "Oh, that guy right there, he's a guy. He's a guy's guy. He's going to show up. He's going to do the job every single time." I
identify with that because before social media, it took people to convince me about social media. To be honest with you, filming workouts and stuff like that, I was doing this way before that. So if you know me, you know me. Yeah. If you don't, you will.
Yeah, right.
So it was more of crafting, being great at what I do, and being able to provide for myself, my family,
absolutely,
my extended family, and other people, and understanding the value that I had and the impact that I had on someone, not just doing basketball, but actually being a mentor, a role model, showing up, being consistent every day, and showing them that we all are in this fight together. And that, to me, is like the ultimate. But like, I want to go back to this. I like snacks.
Yeah.
I'm a big snack guy.
Okay.
And I know my athletes love snacks.
Yeah.
I know you guys do. What are we doing about this snack problem? Like, as a chef, this is a real problem, man.
This is a real problem, for
snack,
sure.
Because I want a snack, but I don't want to gain weight.
Right, okay.
And I want a snack, and I want it to taste good. But I don't want to have too much sugar in my system.
Right.
What are we doing?
So what I would say when it comes to that, right, because I'm a snacker too in some cases, making yourself like homemade no freeze bars, right? So like I'll do something super simple, and you guys can find these recipes anywhere. It's like, peanut butter base, right? You do a little peanut butter, a little protein, powder, and that kind of makes a base, and then you top that base with granola, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of almonds in it. Throw it in the refrigerator, chop it up. Now you got like a no bake bar, is what we call it, no bake bar. Okay, homemade granola. I do that a lot of the times too, which is super simple, right? Some granola, some almonds. If you want like some pumpkin seeds in there, whatever your some cranberries, dry cranberries, throw that in and make it. My biggest thing when it comes to snacking is make it at home, right? Don't go to the grocery store and buy your snacks. You know what I'm saying? If you want snacks.
So basically what you're saying is, because I think my budget, the way my account's set up, I think my budget can afford you just for snacks. Because that's my biggest problem.
Coach, talk to me.
I need to hire you just for my snacks.
Look, talk to me. That's easy.
I'm on a court like 14 hours a day. I need a healthy choice of snack. I need something that can keep me going.
I do like these homemade. I'll do these homemade fig bars.
I eat fig.
And, I just boil down the figs, and then I blend them up with like some honey, a little bit of lemon juice, and a little bit of cane sugar, just a little bit. And then I'll make like a homemade brittle. So I put the fig down on the bottom, homemade brittle on top, bake that for like 20 minutes, freeze that, cut that into bars, you know what I mean? Like I have my refrigerator, I have all these like
That's what I need
bars,
to hire you for. I
mean?
need nothing but snack bars. Yeah. I need them fresh. Do you?
I do homemade.
Are we able to do it on film right now? Put together a deal. I got you. What
do you mean? That's nothing.
I ain't a professional athlete, but I think I got a budget for my snacks.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's light.
I mean, you guys tell me, would you like the snack or do you want the main course? And a lot of people, they want the snack at the end. You're like, bro, I want the snack. Let me get the apple pie. Mm-hmm. I want that joint. And you know, personally, you know, I'm real strict on eating.
Yeah.
But I love some snacks.
I got this recipe I think you will like, and I'm going to send it to you from my Instagram. So I posted it on my Instagram, but I made this gluten-free cookie crumble cake.
See, I need all of that. I need
almond flour, low sugar. I think like per cake piece is maybe under 200 calories. You know what I mean? It's a great snack. And it's filling too, right? Like you eat one of them, you're not going back for 2 or 3 more. Like you eat that, you're full. You know what I mean? I got.
You got a photo of that?
Yeah.
We're gonna put it in the clip.
Yeah.
And you guys go to his Instagram and you'll be able to tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at F2F_PC, Fresh to Fit. Private Catering is the name. You can find me there, and
they can Google your whole name too.
They can Google my whole name, Chef Chris Donaldson. You know, I got some things I've done that you know can vouch for me. You know, if that's how I need to be looked at as vouched. You know, but and you know, hit me up. I'm full of information. I like to think. So if you have questions and stuff, you can hit me up, DM me, and I'll you know just respond to you and maybe figure something out business wise. If not, you know, just give you some information.
Absolutely. So what's your schedule like? Because I know this is always a big issue.
Yeah.
You have a main client. Right now, Matthew.
Yes.
Right. Are you able to work with other athletes?
I am able to work with other athletes. So my company is actually like a chef concierge company. Mm-hmm. So if it's not myself, I got another chef that I work with. I got a team. If it's a big party, we'll come out, rock it out together. If it's just a particular client that needs a chef, I'll help them find that chef. I've worked with, 20 of the 32 NFL teams, helping them find, like, their nutritionists and their dietitians will reach out to me personally.
You're a source. I'm
a source. Hey, I need a chef in Las Vegas. Hey, I need a chef in Minnesota. I find that guy.
I got a bunch of NBA guys that'll be coming in starting in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
You available for the summertime?
100%.
100%. So you guys know we got Chef Chris available for you. And Chef, for me, I'm thinking about, let's do a Jus Win Chef Chris snack pop-up.
Ooh.
What you think about that?
She like, yeah.
Let's do a snack pop-up.
All right.
And I got Chef here, guys, so you'll be able to see it. In the comments, I want you to be able to drop in the comments if you would love to see a Jus Win and Chef Chris pop-up for snacks. Mm-hmm. We can go crazy on it.
Yeah, that's light. We can do that.
We can do that because we're
we're
bringing the mentality and we're bringing the snacks.
Yeah, that's the easy part of the day.
The mindset and the snacks.
Let's go.
'Cause I want the snacks. I'm so grateful to have Chef Chris on, and he really dropped some gems and some diamonds out there for people that are aspiring to be a chef. Like, he inspired me to understand that it's all a mindset, it's all mental, everything we do in life. Chris, I haven't met someone that almost mirror my thought process. Like, the way I look at things as always as a solution to it. I always look at the pivot. I'm always competitive. I'm accepting challenges.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but something that I just want to give you your flowers too real quick. It's crazy because you have an ability to see things in people before you even know them, right?
Yeah.
And our relationship started in a yoga room.
In yoga, baby. Hot yoga. They know
hot yoga, right? And we never really had a conversation.
Never.
But, and correct me if I'm wrong, you always see me show up. You see me show up. You see me there. You see me consistent. Yep. You know what I mean? And then we started to talk and build a relationship. But I never mentioned to you, hey, I'm a chef. I do this. You know what I mean?
Zero.
But you just seen like the consistency.
Watching. Yep.
Like, oh man, like, dang, this guy here again today. This guy. And I'm seeing the same thing with you and Corey. I'm going like, man, like, okay, if they there, I gotta be there. Like, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and your ability just to see, you know what I mean, those things in people without even knowing who I was.
I watch people that show up every day. I'm a people watcher. So if you see me watching you, I'm not on no creep stuff. I'm watching to see how you move it and your ability to be able to be consistent with who you are.
Yeah.
So you are very believable to me because you didn't show up as chef.
Yeah.
You just showed up as you.
Yeah.
And I watch you continue to show up as yourself, and I'm watching you go through what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And when you watch someone go through that repeatedly, and they bring themselves there
on the brink of quitting a lot of times.
Yes, when you bring yourself to get smacked, and you're like, man, this guy pretty tough, then it brings about conversation and good people.
Right.
And now, knowing who you are, I know you as a person first.
Yeah.
And then what you do in your profession. And that's why, for me, telling your story is inspiring to me because that's not how we linked.
Yeah.
We linked through relationship and yoga and being a person, and that's natural relationships. And when I look back through the way you tell your story, you didn't just have this perfect, chef personality, this perfect story, and then I got one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. No, it was all through relationships. Yep. It was all through being in rooms. It was all through starting with the salad. I know, coming to America.
Garde chef.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Coming to America always come to my mind when you said, I started with just the salad, and then I started with the fries, and I worked my way up. and most people lose that mentality because we are in an instant microwave society to where everything is happening so quick that we forget that there are steps. And I appreciate you highlighting your steps. And there's no one formula to success. And it's not just one way that people's stories are written. Your story is written for you, but it is going to inspire other people. I have a niece right now that is a culinary chef.
Awesome.
And
love it.
She is building her business. And she's learning. She's asking questions. She just got interviewed for a private chef. So she's been doing meal preps, and she's 25 years old. She's an ex-D1 athlete. Like her fiance plays in the NFL. NBA.
Awesome. I love it.
And I put her with the Clippers. So she was a chef with the Clippers. And so I'm watching her journey. And I think even watching our pod with you on today will inspire her, and she's going to probably want to connect with you.
I love it.
And pick your brain.
That would be awesome. That would be great.
If you guys haven't, make sure you go now and ring that bell and turn on your post notifications. We want to continue to build community with everyday people with extraordinary stories. We're just everyday people trying to be the best that we can be. Make sure you drop your comments, and at the end of the day, just win. Peace.